Hey, today we're diving into the mysterious world of Jeffrey Dahmer, a story that will make your heart race and your mind spin. Excitement and fear will follow you every step of the way. We have an incredible journey ahead. I'd really appreciate your support. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Introduction: A terrifying night in Milwaukee, July 22nd, 1991, past midnight. The streets of Milwaukee seem quiet, but suddenly, a half-naked man with bruised wrists runs toward the police, gasping for breath. His eyes are filled with terror. "Please help. He was going to kill me. He was going to eat me." The officers are skeptical at first, but when this terrified man leads them to an apartment nearby, they have no idea that they're about to uncover one of the most horrifying crimes in American history. As they step inside, a horrific stench fills the air. They glance around. A small refrigerator sits in the corner of the kitchen. They open it. Inside, they find a severed human head, a human heart, and packages of frozen meat, later identified as pieces of his victims. The officers turn their gaze to the man sitting calmly on the couch, as if none of this surprises him. His name is Jeffrey Lionel Dahmer, and this is the story of a monster who lived in the shadows. Jeffrey Dahmer was born on May 21st, 1960, in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. His family seemed normal on the surface, middle class, stable, but something was different about Jeffrey. As a child, he was quiet and isolated. His parents, Lionel Dahmer and Joyce Flint, were constantly arguing, and their troubled marriage had a deep impact on him. He developed an obsession with dead animals. In his backyard, he collected animal carcasses, dissected them with knives, and preserved them in jars of acid. His father, a chemist, unknowingly encouraged this interest, once showing Jeffrey how to clean animal bones using acid. But Jeffrey wasn't just interested in bones. He was fascinated by death itself. During his teenage years, he began having dark fantasies, visions of complete control over another person. Fantasies that, years later, would turn into horrifying crimes. But at the time, no one knew that the shy, introverted boy was destined to become one of the most infamous serial killers in history. 1978. Jeffrey Dahmer is 18 years old. His parents have divorced, and he is living alone in the family home. One day, he spots Stephen Hicks, a 19-year-old hitchhiker. Dahmer invites him over for a few drinks. Hours later, Hicks wants to leave, but Dahmer doesn't want to let him go. He bludgeons him with a dumbbell, then dissects his body with a knife. To dispose of the remains, he packs them into garbage bags and later crushes the bones with a hammer, scattering them in the woods. This was Dahmer's first kill, but it would not be his last. After the first murder, Dahmer managed to control himself for a while. He went to college, but due to his severe alcohol addiction, he dropped out. He then joined the military, but was discharged for inappropriate behavior. For years, he didn't kill. But in 1987, he found a new victim. November 27, 1987. In a gay bar, Dahmer meets Stephen Twomey. He invites him to a hotel, drugs him, and kills him. From that moment, the killing never stopped. Between 1987 and 1991, Dahmer murdered 17 young men. His method was the same. He drugged them, strangled them, and dismembered their bodies. He stored some body parts in his fridge and even ate them. He kept some victims' skulls as trophies. He once even attempted to create a zombie by injecting acid into a victim's brain. His gruesome obsession led him to a point of no return, but eventually, it all caught up with him. July 22nd, 1991. Dahmer brings his latest victim home, Tracy Edwards, a 32-year-old man. Unlike the others, Edwards managed to escape and alerts the police. When the officers enter Dahmer's apartment, they make some of the most disturbing discoveries in criminal history. 7 human skulls, a human heart, and other body parts in the refrigerator, several plates with human flesh, Polaroid photos of dismembered bodies. Dahmer is immediately arrested and confesses to 17 murders. In court, he is sentenced to 937 years in prison, a punishment meant to ensure that he never sees the outside world again, but he wouldn't live long enough to serve his full sentence. November 28, 1994. While serving his sentence at Columbia Correctional Institution, Dahmer is attacked by Christopher Scarver, a fellow inmate. Using a metal bar from the gym, Scarver beats Dahmer to death. Just like that, one of history's most infamous serial killers meets his brutal end. What turns a man into a monster? Was Dahmer the product of a troubled childhood? Or was he simply born a predator? The case of Jeffrey Dahmer remains one of the most terrifying and mysterious crime stories of all time. And perhaps, it's a case that will never have a complete answer. Ending. Suspenseful music rises and fades out.